Today, I'm going to be going over how I became a Reiki energy healer and how I knew I was meant to be a healer and light worker and stepping into that space. Welcome or welcome back, beautiful souls, to the channel. I'm Chica, your conscious mentor, and today I'm going to be deep diving into how I became an energy healer. I know a lot of you guys have been asking me questions. For those who don't know, I am an energy healer and I do conscious mentoring to help support conscious souls to expand and grow and really find out more about their gifts, as well as helping them through ancestral healing, helping them through conscious healing, whether it's through past life regression, connecting with plant medicine, sacred plants, and shamanic practices. So those are kind of the realms and modalities that I connect with while sending that energy through Reiki. And it's honestly been such a beautiful experience. And I know more and more people are feeling more called to step into the space. So I felt called to share from my experience to hopefully guide you and help you on deciding if you are meant to be a Reiki healer and feeling that calling. Most likely you are if you're on this video. And if you are just feeling called to tap into the space in one way or another, and knowing that healers don't only come from a space of actually being called a healer. You know, healers are in different forms, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. This video is actually a collaboration with Love Dove as well. So she's amazing. She is such an amazing Reiki master, and I'm going to actually link her video down below where she's going to be talking about the benefits of Reiki and just learning more about Reiki itself. If that is something that you're interested in, definitely go check that out. Before we get into the video, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, a like, and subscribe, as well as put notification bells. I do 3 or more videos every single week for you amazing souls and to be part of this amazing loving family that I love so much. And today's subscriber of the day is Dejan. Thank you so much for being part of this amazing family. I'm so grateful for each and every single one of you guys. Let's get into the video. So the first and foremost thing that I want to talk about is energy healing. And there are so many different modalities out there. It's so amazing. There's shamanic, there's akashic, there is, mediumship, there's Reiki, there's Ayurvedic. There's so many ways that we can tap into the space. And if you feel called to share maybe some realms or maybe energy healing that you're feeling called to down below, I'd love to hear. Or even if you have certain things that you're interested in, you might not necessarily know the modality, but you're saying, hey, I'm really interested in feeling called to heal in plants or healing in with my hands or whatever it is, feel called to share. Because again, this is a great way of finding out your journey and how I found out my journey. So I started my journey basically at the point where Reiki came to me in my life at a time that I feel was very interesting. I ended up doing a shamanic energy healing in Bali, and it was my first shamanic energy healing about years ago. And when I went there, it was so powerful. I literally felt like someone took 250 pounds off of my back. And that's the beauty of energy healing. It can really make a huge impact on yourself, on your expansion, on your being. And it's you don't notice how much that humans actually hold energy in parts of our body. Even if we go to therapy and stuff, there are still parts of us in the subconscious that might not necessarily be healed. And I spent years and years feeling like I did the therapy, I did all the things, but there was still something lingering. So I was open to doing energy healing, and it honestly did more for me, I feel, than therapy. And again, this is not a substitute for therapy. It is an assist if you would like to, and I'm not saying that in that space, but for me personally, from an experience, I felt like it did support me more. So after doing my healing, I had so much trauma held in my body energetically that she actually recommended me come again. And I came the next day to do another 90-minute session, and she was hoping to work with me more, but I told her I have to go back to Canada. So when I got back to Canada, I actually worked with her distantly. And the beautiful thing about a lot of the modalities is you can actually do them distantly. And I think at a time like right now, more and more in the world is going online. Reiki, for example, you can send it distantly, and that's something that a lot of people are like, wait, you can send energy? Yeah, you can send Reiki energy to distantly to anyone in the world, any dimension, people who've passed away. You can do a lot. Energy is such a very strong method that can actually help you from anything as to mental health, to cancer survivors, to people going in labor. Like, there's just so many things that you can do and help you with. So all this to say, I did shamanic healing once a month for 6 months, almost 6 months, like 5 months long. And then I just kept getting involved and like meeting light workers, meeting healers, and they're like, Shika, you have this presence to you and this energy to you. It's so healing and therapeutic. And I used to get this a lot when I was a kid. I didn't really have many friends. I was bullied half of my life as a kid. And that was something that I learned later on that I had to heal. But one thing that I learned throughout this journey was that, man, there was so much that was released during that healing, and also so much that was brought up. And it told me that there were parts of me that I didn't like and I hid, such as parts of me not embracing being a woman or not embracing being someone that could help people, even though as my inner child, all she wanted to do was help people and make people smile and make people happy. So that was something that I worked through a lot throughout those months, was my inner child, releasing trauma, releasing, belief that I deserve more than what do I need? Like everything I need, I deserve all that I need to in my life. And then eventually I actually connected with someone online that was a Reiki master. And I was like, you know what, Shika, like at the time I was working as a social media consultant. I still do that. However, I don't feel like it's my main intention. I think my main intention in the space is to help people in the social media space that are healers or people who are in wellness and consciousness, but in a different way. I know through my life number, I know through my life path number, as well as just like who I am, that I am meant to be a creative. I am meant to help people creatively, but through healing. And when I started doing Reiki, ironically enough, my first Reiki master was shamanic Reiki, and I connected with her right away. Her energy, her embrace, it was just so amazing. And I ended up doing my first attunement. And my first attunement experience was crazy. They always say your first attunement and your second attunement is actually the hardest, because those are the ones that are really purging all through you so you can give to other people, right? You're being open to the Reiki energy so then you can be, give to yourself and others. Usually you go through a 21-day purge of all your chakras 3 times, but I ended up doing that for about 2.5 months because there was just so much that was released and so much shedding that happened. I was like a completely different person. I ended up leaving the space of identity of a social media influencer, if you will. I consider myself an educator in the healing space. But I left that kind of space. I'm more conscious of like any collaborations I do. I barely do them. I just feel like I'm a healer. I'm meant to do that space again, like I said. But when I started doing that, that's when I started to notice, man, okay, number one, Reiki is super powerful. I'm not having issues with sleeping because I was doing self-Reiki throughout the whole time I was purging out that energy. I noticed a huge shift that I was able to release a lot of relationships in my life that no longer served me. I gave myself so much more time to self-care. I got a lot more answers from the divine. I had ringing in my ears because my gifts were opening up, and I was like, what is this? And it's something that I already knew I had. I remember distinctively, like as a kid, hearing things, and then eventually it stopped. So it was like I was getting that again, but more powerful. So all those things started to unlock after my Reiki attunement. Now again, everyone's experience is different. Everyone's gifts are different. So you might not necessarily have the same experience I had, but it was really crazy. So at that point I was like, oh my gosh. And I started sending healing energy, Reiki healing, to my friends and family. And I did card readings for 4 years before that. I used to do them with my friends randomly, and they're like, Shika, you're really good at this. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was just very tuned in, but I was also tuned out because I cared a lot about the external judgment. And that was what brought me to this point here where I was not accepting myself as a healer. And this is one of the biggest parts as starting into the healing space is, how do you know that you're meant to be a healer? Well, I kept having so many synchronicities that were just crazy. One day I had 4 people message me on my Instagram saying, I don't know why I'm attracted to your energy. This is what happened to my life. A lot of like mirroring of things that I healed from, that they were coming to me for support and guidance. And I didn't even say that I was a Reiki healer. I started doing lives about readings, and I would do readings for people, and it started becoming more and more known. And like, that's when I started to feel this sense of shame that kept coming up for me. And I was like, where is this coming from, Shika? Like, why are you feeling shameful of this? Shame of judgment. And that had a lot to do with the trauma I went through, my inner child trauma, my ancestral trauma, like all of these things that Reiki was meant to come into my life to help me with, so I can make space for others. So all this to say, I ended up doing healing, and after that, I decided, after having these crazy synchronicities, after 3.5 months, Shika, okay, it might be time to do your second attunement. I think it's time. I think you've accepted Reiki and to be an energy healer. So it's really the decision of understanding that there was all these things that the universe is telling me, but I just kept having fear, and I had to just completely surrender to it. I ended up doing my second Reiki. That one wasn't as hard. Like, it was like a 2.5 week cleanse for me. And then I felt the line because I was already doing self Reiki. I was already doing all these things. So when you're doing all the shadow work already, it just makes it so much easier for you to integrate depending on where you are in your journey. And that's when I started to accept people publicly. And that was a big change for me, because then I was kind of shedding and rebirthing myself in a public space of social media, and that was very, very interesting. But at the same time, I knew that I was meant to be a creative as a healer. I know I was meant to be here to help and heal people in a way that is so different and that is so impactful. And that's what got me to start doing the full moon and new moon meditations. That was what got me into doing readings and publicly and saying, hey, now I'm offering readings and I'm actually accepting this identity. All these things came in. So I had to understand that in order for me to understand how I was meant to be a healer, I went through my shadow work and I understood how I can be a healer my own way. And that's what brings me back to understanding that not every healer is defined as a healer. I know nurses that are healer. They are psychic, they are tuned, and that's the way that they are able to help people, by being that person in the medical field that has an energy background, that knows how to send their energy to others. I know people who have businesses in social media, and they're helping people with understanding how to be themselves, but in an empathic way of allowing them to create content. I know healers that are artists in music that help people connect with their soul through the healing ears of their music. There are so many ways that you can be a healer. So I think the first step was understanding that how can you heal yourself and understand your experiences to be a healer in the way that you are meant to be. Don't compare the definition of a healer from one other person. And I was in a group chat a week ago, and they said it just so perfectly, and I wanted to share with you guys that, you know, for you to be a healer, you can be a healer that does one modality, that just does Akashic records, and that's your jam. Or you could be a healer that your whole mission is to help women who've gone through trauma and do past life, Akashic, you know, Reiki. That could be your thing. But at the end of the day, your mission has to be clear. And I think that's one of the biggest things. So the transition from me learning how to heal myself was the number one step on how to become a healer. I healed myself. I did the shadow work, because you can't give out of an empty cup. Once I was done that, then I shifted into, okay, I think I am ready. I think I'm ready to be the student in the energy and lead my purpose in my healing space. So that's what brought me to do Reiki too. And at that point, when I was done, I felt like I was at a point where I can start to add the energy to other souls and giving it to them. But you need to believe in whatever modality you give at the end of the day in order for it to be transmitted in a way that's so powerful. When I give healing through my, meditations or through my sessions, I believe in it 110%. And the reason why is because I am flowing through it. I am a skeleton to the energy that gives to the world. And I need to understand that I need to be that vessel. I can't block myself mentally, emotionally, physically for me to transmit that. So that was a big part, was believing that I am the communicator to that energy. I am the person, I'm the vessel to that energy for the universe, and serving in that space. So those were the main things that really allowed me to start, and how I started becoming a healer. It really came down to my own wounds that I went through healing, and a lot of synchronicities of people confirming that with me, and the way that the universe just randomly allowed people to connect with me in a deep way that I didn't even tell them I was a healer, and they knew. And then me accepting that identity. And that was probably the most rewarding moment, was when I was doing my first healing with someone, and I was like, I'm meant to do this. And it was such a beautiful experience. I'm meant to mentor people. I'm kind of getting like watery talking to you guys about this, because I love being able to heal. It makes me so happy. I am so grateful to be, oh my God. I'm so grateful to be a healer, because it honestly, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all the pain I went through. I wouldn't be a healer today. And you know, in times where right now, if you are going through something and you want to be a healer, and you said that I have so much to work on, Shika, I don't even know, and I can't even imagine myself being in that space yet, just know that it can happen so quickly, and that you are doing the work right now. Even if it feels like you're not serving the way that you want to, you are serving your future people that you're healing by taking care of yourself. And even as a healer now, I still allow myself to focus on Reiki and giving myself self-Reiki in the day, and doing like really tapping into being a student and learning different ways to learn more about how I can transmit in certain modalities, such as plant medicines, and understanding the sacred plants and respecting them and connecting with them on a deeper level, to, you know, shamanic healings, and deepening that relationship with earth and plants, and like the essence of animals and sacredness. And there's just so much that I personally go through, that I'm hoping that this experience and this story has inspired you to be a healer. So start doing the work. If you're continuously doing it right now, that's amazing. And just know that you have, and you are able to. If you guys have any other questions about my healing experience, please let me know down in the comments section down below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like, and subscribe, as well as put notification bells. I do 3 or more videos every single week, and feel free to go check out Sam's video as well in the comment section. I think you guys will really, really enjoy it. So I'm sending you so much love, light, and positivity. Bye.